The More Groove sheet is the next one we're going to look at. Now, I'll play, on this video, I'll play each groove 4 times so you can hear what it sounds like. But obviously, as the sheet says, you need to play each one 8 times to make sure that you've really got that groove nailed and you can play it whenever you need to. Don't worry about trying to keep up with the speed that I'm doing things. You don't have to. I'll try and play them slower than I normally would to make it easier for you, and I'll also break down each groove so that you get a quick overview. So let's begin. So groove number 1 is just a straightforward reverse of our normal rock groove. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We've still got the hi-hat playing the 8th notes over the top. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But you can see that the bass drum is now on beat 2 and the snare drum on beat 1. So for the bass drum and snare drum part for this, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Some people find it really, really easy to play until they put a count to it, because mentally, instead of playing what is written, they play without realising it. So I really encourage you, as with all of these grooves, please do count out loud. So let's play number 1 4 times, and then you can take it away and work it out on your own. So ready? 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's groove number 1. Groove number 2 is what we call the 4 on the floor, because you've got 4 bass drum notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. With this one, there's no real surprises, but there are the bits that we need to watch out for. So on the 2 and the 4, we need to make sure that we've got very much where your hi-hat, your snare drum and your bass drum are all lined up and playing at the right time. If they're slightly out, it just kills the groove, and you don't want that. So let's play number 2 4 times slowly. 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3, 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Number 3 is just a straightforward reverse of number 2. So if you could play number 2, you should be able to play number 3. So let's play number 3 together. 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 2, 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4, 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you can now take that one away and go and enjoy it. Number 4 is one that seems a lot easier than it actually is the first few times you do it. When you look at it, you go, oh yeah, I can already do that. And you can, but making sure it sounds and feels good takes a bit of time. So as you can see, it's just straightforward, everything, and then the hi-hat. So you've got 1 and, like that. And basically the whole thing just repeats that same idea over and over again. So playing it slowly, you've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, like that. I wouldn't worry too much about speeding it up yet. It's not needed. Okay, get it accurate first and then worry about the speed. Okay, speed is useless without the accuracy, and that just works for the whole of this sheet. So let's do number 4 together. Ready? 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now obviously take it to your kit and get it up together 8 times. Number 5 is one of the 4 tricky ones on this sheet. Now, the reason number 5 and number 6 are tricky are because the 2 halves don't match up. They're not identical, whereas for the majority of the rest of the grooves and everything we've played before, everything does match up. So number 5, obviously you've still got your hi-hat, got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, but your snare drum and bass drum pattern is now snare, bass, bass, snare. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Put it together with the count of 1 and you get this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you can see already how it might trip you up, and it can be incredibly frustrating, this one. So what has worked for a lot of people in the past is getting used to playing it just once. Okay, so let's do that together slowly. Number 5, once. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, once you've got that, you can then just work on getting that really comfortable. Don't worry about repeating it yet, just get it really comfortable. From there, I would just add the 1 on of the second time. So that will go 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Like that. And then build it up by adding a note each time. So the next time you do it, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and then the next time you have the 2, then the and, then the 3 and so on. Take your time with this one and really work it. If it's causing you major problems, instead of counting 1 and 2 and, you can say the name of the drum that you're hitting. So it will go snare and bass and snare and it will sound like this. Snare and bass and snare and. That can really help unlock it. But do try, even if you use that way, do try to make sure that at some point you can play it 8 times whilst counting 1 and 2 and, because that's really what we're aiming for. Let's play number 5 together 4 times. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 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 3 and 4 and there's number 5. Number 6 is the inversion, I suppose, of number 5. So instead of going snare, bass, bass, snare, we're going bass, snare, snare, bass. But the way that we've worked on number 5 will also help us for number 6. So take all the lessons that you've learned from number 5 on how to count, do everything slowly, add 1 note at a time, and apply it to number 6. So we'll play it once so that you get an idea. Ready? 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 So now pause, work on it, and then come back. And this is number 6, 4 times. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Number 7 introduces us to 2 consecutive bass drum notes, so 1 and, like that. Without that second bass drum note, it is really just the standard rock groove, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. But if you look at it, you can see quite clearly there are 2 bass drum notes, 1 and if you're in any doubt, the bass drum notes actually line up with the hi-hat notes. You know that on this sheet, all the hi-hat notes are counted 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, which means that you can see where the bass drum and the snare drum should be playing. Then it becomes just a matter of playing them. So let's try number 7 slowly. We'll do it one time. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now let's try it 4 times. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's number 7. Number 8 is again just swapping what we've learnt in number 7 around. So on its own it will sound like this: 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, which you can hear is quite straightforward. Now try playing it 4 times. Ready? 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Number 8, nice and straightforward. Number 9 is the first half of 7 and the second half of 8 scrunched together. So you've now got 4 bass drums in the bar, 1 and 3 and. Shouldn't cause you too many problems. Take it slowly. We'll play it once so you can hear it. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then we'll play it 4 times so that you get an idea, and then obviously, as always, take it back. Make sure you can play it 8 times. So, number 9, 4 times. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's number 9. Number 10. Now number 10 confuses a lot of people because they look at it and go, oh yeah, that's really, really easy. Where have we heard that before? But they're right and they're wrong. It's easy, yes, but you've got to still pay attention to what you're doing. Now, you'll notice that the hi-hats, as always, are still there going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But now you've got 8 bass drums, so you've got a bass drum every time you hit the hi-hat. Now, the way to think about it is that. So if you look on YouTube, you can see videos of like the old Thunderbirds where they walk around like that because they were puppets. And every time one hand moved, the foot moved as well, which that's how it was. And this groove is exactly like that. So every time you move your right hand, you're also moving your right foot. So you've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I would work on that bit first, get that really comfortable. Then you need to get the snare drum in. Now, as with groove numbers 2, 3 and 4, where we've got the snare drum, bass drum and hi-hat playing, we need to still make sure that everything's lined up and it's all tight. So that, okay, we don't want to hear that or that. It just doesn't sound good. There's no call for it, so please don't do it. And then you just put them together. So we'll play number 10 once. Ready? 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Nice and straightforward. Slowly rewind the video, use the pause key, work it out. Don't worry if it takes you a few goes to get it. That's perfectly usual, normal. I don't like the word normal, but it's perfectly common for that to happen. Just please do remember to count and take it slowly. We'll now play number 10 4 times with a nice loud count. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So there's that one, nice and straightforward. Number 11 is the last of the really tricky grooves. And with this one, it is all about counting and taking it really, really slowly. I put this one in because I like it, it's fun, but it does trip a lot of people up. So once you know you can play this, then it's, that you're quite solid in what you're playing. Now, how does it work? Well, you've got your bass drum on the 1, the 2, then the bass drum again on the 3 and the 4, and the snare drum popping out on an and to finish the bar off. So put it together, we'll play it once, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, and you can hear that is not something we've done before. So be aware of that. Now, to link the two, or to link number 11 twice, I should say, we need to make sure that we're comfortable with the, which will be the bass, snare, bass that is written. So my advice is literally sit there and just get used to going bass, snare, bass, bass, snare, bass. Try it a little bit quicker, bass, snare, bass. A little bit quicker, bass, snare, bass. And once you've done that a few times at different speeds, go bass, snare, bass, change it so you're going 4 and 1. 4 and 1. 4 and 1. Now, what that does is it just allows us to make sure that we know that we can play the back end of 11 into the repeat. So let's play number 11 twice. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So there's number 11 twice. Now let's play it 4 times. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 2 That's number 11, tied up. Number 12 introduces us to 2 consecutive snare drum notes. We've done the bass drum, why not do the snare drum? So now we've got 2 and on the snare, and obviously the hi-hat as well. No great surprises here, so let's get straight on and play it once. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Nice and straightforward. Now let's play it 4 times. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Number 13. Number 13 is just a straightforward switch around of number 12. So let's do it once. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now let's do it 4 times. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 14 is effectively 12 and 13 put together. So you've got 1 and 2 and you've got that exactly the same in the second half. So let's play it once. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now let's play it 4 times. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 15 is one of those that people generally get after a couple of goes. Just be aware that the pattern doesn't repeat in both halves. So you've got kick, kick, snare, snare, kick, kick, snare, and then you've got a single hi-hat on its own. Okay, so just be aware of that. Let's play it once. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now let's play it 4 times. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 16, the final one on the sheet. Lovely, straightforward, bass, bass, snare, snare, and we just do that again and again and again. So let's play it once. Ready? 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now let's play it 4 times. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that takes us to the end of the More Groove sheet. As I've said previously, just enjoy.